Hi Ariana, here are two horror stories. Let's get started. That's a friend's story. He took in his grandfather and built him a wheelchair ramp since he is very old and can't really walk upstairs. His HOA hit him with a fine for the ramp being built without prior HOA approval, but he did pull a permit with the town prior. They then fined him again for not applying for a resident application for his grandfather. His grandfather has no other family other than him. My friend's father died, so he was the only option other than a nursing home. So, he gets slapped with fines every day and fights it for 3 months. I forget the breakdown, but the ramp plus tenant fines totaled about $30,000 after 90 days, so call it 333 day. Eventually, he won the ramp part under some state rules regarding the elderly and disabilities, but lost on the tenant application. They ended up making a deal for him to sell, basically forced to foreclose, but he owed about $10,000 from the application fines. That fine got taken directly from his sale and he sold in a hurry and below market value by quite a bit. He lived in that house several years prior. He moved down the street to a non-HOA where he and his granddad live now. All's well that ends well, right? But now we go with the second story, my story. I live in a non-HOA, but an HOA near me has been gathering houses for some time now. On my street, maybe 10 of the 14 houses are non-HOA. So, I move in and within the first month I get a visit from the HOA people. Apparently the previous owned helped chip in for projects he thought would increase the value of his land. I didn't get any of that info when I bought the place, so I told them I wasn't interested in it. They tried to sell me joining, and I refused. So they come back a week or two later and try a different tactic. Apparently my neighbor is HOA. I live on a corner, so only one direct neighbor on my street. And they try to say eminent domain applies and I will be considered as a member going forward. I tell them no, that's not how HOAs work and I don't recognize any affiliation with them. So, now they try playing hardball. They have a surveyor come out and survey my neighbor's land to make sure my fence, my white vinyl fence that they hate, isn't on his land. While doing this, they try to survey my land. I wasn't home, but my girlfriend was and she told them to leave. They said the HOA paid them, but they did leave when she pressed on it. The surveyor came back and determined I was on my land and some of my neighbor's plants were actually on my land. Whatever, I don't care, so I let it be. Now, they try to enforce their eminent domain and come by to tell me I'm late on dues. I tell them I'm not paying dues since I'm not HOA. They argue with me, I tell them to leave and they are no longer welcome if it is for HOA stuff. So, they come by one more time and try and give me some BS fines about my backyard. My backyard is fenced and you'd have to be 7 feet tall to see over it. I checked the security cameras and they opened my fence, came in, and looked at my backyard. So, I call the police for trespassing and I haven't heard from any of them since in exchange for dropping charges. HOAs suck and even if you aren't in one, they will try to make you join. FK them and all that noise.